Hello folks, welcome to The Blind Builder. My name is Rod and I'm the Blind Builder. As I alluded to yesterday, I was going to try and use this UV resin glue, or it's for bonding, to see if we could put together an engine. But before that, I thought I better try this stuff out, see if it works, see if I'm better off using CA glue. So what I've got here is a piece 2 that the motor came on when I detached it yesterday, as you can see. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and fit 2 of the pieces together that I broke apart. Let's see, kind of like so. I will reposition the camera. We'll give this a shot. Just a second here. And here we are down on the bench. Let me get stuff repositioned. The one thing I found is once you open the bottle, you have this applicator. It does not seem to want it. Well, I might have to punch a hole in it. Well, we'll go old school. The way I generally apply my CA glue is with a toothpick. I know a lot of us do this. It seems to work, so we'll just run with that. Let me make sure I've got everything cleared off here. So there we go. What I'm going to do is try and pick that toothpick up. I had a major stroke back in 2015, and sometimes my hands don't want to work like they're supposed to. So you kind of got to bear with me here. Now, I've got the epoxy, or whatever they're calling it, right here. Just going to apply it like so. Set aside. Take my piece. Oh, let's see where. Here we go. Let's see. Am I in focus here? Put them together like so. Then it comes with this handy. Where did I put the dang thing? You know, I'd lose my dang head if it weren't attached to me. Here it is. Got screwed out of the way. I got my UV light that it came with. Turn it on. And this thing's about as this is not what I call something that works well. Battery in it. It was working a minute ago. There we go. I think there, now it's finally going. If you gotta go through this much trouble, I think you're better off with maybe CA glue and hope for the best. But this is supposed to be some kind of a bonding agent for resin parts. From what I can read, it's supposed to dry clear. We'll see about that. So here we go. I thought about just going right to the engine and trying to apply this stuff. But with these 3D printed motors costing $15 to $20 each, I'd really rather make sure it works on scrap plastic. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if it actually bonded. It actually, yeah, it's not the best bonding. Let's try and see if on the back side. There we go. Let's see if we get a nice solid bond here. And we will go. But yeah, as I said a little bit earlier, back in 2000, I think it was 2015, I had a pretty major stroke, which laid me up for about 6 months. And it turns out that I had been having mini strokes for years prior to that. Just nobody caught it. And once the big one hit, that was that. Luckily, with some rehab, I've been able to start walking again, and I have most of my functions back. I'm about 85%, maybe 90% back. And okay, getting back to the bonding agent here, it actually seems to work okay. Do I know if I would trust it in a long term? We'll have to wait and see. Because I think my next step is I'm going to start putting parts of the motor together. Might as well just start right here. We're here, aren't we? Let's have some fun. Now I'm going to take and dump the parts that I cleared off of the, I guess I'll call it the tree or the sprue, whatever you want to call it for these things. Now, I'm not going to put the whole motor together. My big concern is I want the block, I want the water pump to be attached, and I have a reason for that. I want to make sure that it's going to fit in my chassis here. So let's give this a shot. We're just going to go on like that. I don't know how liberally I'm supposed to put this on, so it's kind of a, hey, let's just see how it goes kind of thing. There we go. We have that put on. I will say this stuff isn't as sticky as CA glues. It's a little more forgiving that way. Now let's see how this works. Well, yeah, hell, it came on just like it's supposed to. That's a first. We'll see if this actually holds on like it's supposed to. I think it's supposed to hold it like 15 seconds, something like that. I guess if I really wanted to, I do have a UV light that I use for when I do dashboards to make the gauges look better. Yeah, this stuff is thin. It does run, I'll give you that. Let's see how it's going. Now I'm doing this in real time for you. So if it's boring, I'm sorry. But this is one of those things, you know, I'm not real sure if I want my channel to get too much into product review. I think it's more into demonstrations of how I do things. Now, I'll have to ask you guys, I'm thinking about setting up a way to film while I'm airbrushing, painting, you know, that kind of stuff out in my other room. If you guys are wanting to see that, let me know. Now let's see if this actually held together. It did. I have to say this bonding agent, at least in my experience, works. I'd like to have a little bit better UV light, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. This stuff, I think 2 bottles of it, and the light wound up running $9.99 on Amazon. Now, let's see if the block is going to fit. You know what? Let's go ahead and put the transmission on as well. Well, I'm going to put the transmission on, but I'm going to use some white glue to do that for now. Or I've got Elmer's Clear. Let me just dab a little on here. There we go. That's way more than I need, but it should work. Let's see, we're gonna go on like that. The only reason I'm doing this, when I paint parts like engines, stuff like that, I'll paint parts together, like the block, the oil pan will be all one color, and the headers, for instance, will probably be a different color. It'll be either white or it might be a steel color, might be weathered a little bit. The valve covers that you see here, those may be a different color yet. I still have to reference some pictures, and of course you're going to have the pulleys. Those will wind up just being black. Just a second, this light is not being friendly to us, is it? There we go. The pulley here, which will wind up being black, and then detailed with some silver gel pen or something like that. Well, I can tell you right now, Elmer's glue and this resin they're not friendly. So that is not going to work like I'd hoped. I was kind of hoping I could mock this up to see if it's actually going to fit in there. Well, let's go this way. Well, that's upside down too. That's going to look funny. All right. And there we go. As you can see, I'm wearing a Band-Aid here. I was wrestling around with my Doberman, and she got a little feisty last night. I guess we'll just do it this way, see if she sits in there all right. See if I'm basically looking to make sure I have clearance. And it looks like I will. Might have to do a little bit of altering right there at the back of the transmission. We'll see. Maybe I'll dig out one of my other transmissions that I have lying around somewhere and use it. But let me get this cleaned off real quick. Yeah. And also, I know you guys and gals, we are like, especially for me, I have an issue with finding rags. Well, I learned this from a channel called Barber Toast Rex. He takes old t-shirts and tears them up, has rags. And I found what even works better is old underwear. You know, us guys, we wear them till there's usually not much left, but that fabric really does clean out an airbrush well. I'll have to do a little bit more cleaning with this, but that should be fine. But what I really wanted this video to do is test this bonding agent, this UV bonding, and it does work. It's not as sticky as using super glue or CA glue. There, I'll bring you guys back up. You don't need to look at that anymore. But it's not as sticky and as messy sometimes as using my preferred glue is stuff like this. Or if they're unpainted parts, I use that. So, and I have different thicknesses of this. I have the thick, the medium, and the thin. I honestly don't like the thin. That stuff gets everywhere, and if you ever get that stuff on your pants or your shirt, you might as well write that shirt off. So, but anyway, I've gone on long enough. You guys have a great day, and we will catch you on the next.